Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone, this is Ashima and you're watching us on Entry channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about daily news events and the discussion is going to involve a lot of discussion on various points which will help you enhance your notes and will help you gain knowledge about the day-to-day events that are happening in and around the world. And for all of those who are looking for questions as well, we have everyday quiz. You can say live quiz that happens on Entry app. So you can download the app and you can download the app from Google Play Store. And first you initially do the registration process, and after the registration process, you get free live quiz on app along with a lot of study material available as well. So download the app and check that right now. Before that, for all those who are waiting for the news event, before we begin, just like the video, share the video for all those you might find you feel that might find this video beneficial, because this is going to help all exam aspirants, because this video involves more of the detailed analysis, right? Now, the first news event which we are going to talk about is Quad grouping, the third ministerial meeting. Now, the second ministerial meeting was held last year and that was held in Tokyo. Now, the third ministerial meeting is soon to be held, so that has been announced. First meeting was held in 2019 in New York. In 2020, second ministerial meeting was held of foreign ministers and that was held in Tokyo, and that was at the time when S. Jaishankar had represented India over there. Now, the third meeting is soon to be organized on 18th of February, right? And that has already been announced. Now, here there are certain questions that come up in examinations also, from the point that is that members of Quad countries, when was the first meeting held, and how was it established? Is it under a under a contract or something? So there is nothing as such. First of all, if we talk about the countries that are involved, it involves the foreign ministers of Australia, India, USA, and Japan. So in this meeting also, the foreign ministers are meeting with views on global and regional issues. A lot of Pacific area issues to be arisen over here, as the last one had that. Then Japan and other allies are also going to counter the Chinese developments that are happening in the Asian Pacific region. So for that purpose also, this is a very important meeting that is going to be organized, right? Now, this meeting is also known as Quad, as four countries are there, or Asian NATO as well. It is sometimes known as Asian NATO as well. Now, the next news event is ISA, International Solar Alliance, has finally announced the launch of World Solar Bank. Now, this announcement had already taken place, but the final announcement of its happening or its establishment is soon to take place, and that is going to happen in the United Nations COP, that is going to be held, a climate change conference, which is going to be held in Glasgow. So that meeting is soon to be organized. That is also known by the name COP26. So over here in this meeting, there is going to be the launch of this World Solar Bank that is going to be announced. Now, in this, India has a huge percentage share as well, and also the headquarters of World Solar Bank are expected to be in India. Now, International Solar Alliance headquarters are also in India, that is in Gurugram, and the World Solar Bank also expects that the expectation is that its headquarters are also going to be there. Now, apart from that, what are the loan disbursements that are to happen? Now, what is the purpose of World Solar Bank? Is that it's not that it is going to generate all the electricity and give to all the members. No, its purpose is that it is going to give the amount or loans for the purpose of development of solar energy infrastructure in countries, because there are various countries which cannot afford that, or they do not have that amount to set that up. So for that purpose, the amount is going to be dispersed, or the loans are going to be given for the development of solar energy. So for the next 10 years, it is expected that about 50 billion US dollars are going to be disbursed over the next 10 years as per the current update that is happening. Right now, International Solar Alliance implements the Global Energy Electricity Grid Plan, and the name of the plan which is set up by ISA is One Sun, One World, One Grid. One Sun, One World, one grid. That is the tagline on which International Solar Alliance functions, right? Then we have Institute of International Finance report. Now this institute has recently released a report which has stated that as of now the world is in its biggest debts possible. That is the biggest debt that this world could ever be under is now. And how much is that? That is about 355%. 355% of the world's GDP. Of the world's GDP, 355% is the current debt that world is in. And if we talk about in numbers, that is 281 trillion US dollars. And all of this has risen at the duration of 2020 COVID pandemic, because at that duration, a lot of countries had taken debts, right? So companies and households have raised 24 trillion US dollars of debts during this COVID pandemic, right? And it is expected that in the coming year, that is in 2021, about 10 trillion US dollars, 10 trillion US dollars is expected to increase in the coming year as well. So it's not no turn of decreasing, and on the more it is soon to increase, right? So overall, if we can say, it is going to cross about 92 trillion US dollars by the end of 2021, even if repayments and all are conducted. Now if we talk about IIF, that is Institute of International Finance, which has released this report. This was established in 1983, and in 1983 it was established by about 38 banks. 38 banks had established this institute, right? And if we talk about why was it created, it was created basically after the international debt crisis that happened in 1980. So about 450 firms in 70 countries are represented via IIF as of now, right? And what are there are asset managers, commercials, investment bankers, sovereign wealth funds, insurance companies. There are all arenas of possibilities that are there, which are members or associated with IIF as of now. Then we have Labor Minister, who has announced to launch the software for 5 surveys. Now, what are the 5 surveys that are going to be conducted by the Labor Ministry? They are Migrant Workers Survey, one is Domestic Workers Survey, then Employment Generated by Professionals Survey, a survey on employment generated in transport sector, and Quarterly Establishment Based Employment Survey. These are the 5 categories of survey that are going to be conducted by the Labor Ministry as of now, or as per the current announcement, right? And if we talk further about this survey, now it will also have, so over here we've seen that we'll have it on migrant workers, also on domestic workers also. So who is going to conduct this survey? Now this survey is going to be conducted by Labor Bureau. So Labor Bureau is going to conduct all of these surveys, right? Now, an all India survey on domestic workers will be carried out with the objective of estimating the proportion of domestic workers in the overall workforce. So, overall percentage of domestic workers that is there. Then, how many migrant workers are there? Estimation on how many total number of migrant workers are there in terms of percentage. Then, if we talk about the third survey, that is employment generated by professionals, it will have 2 objectives. First, estimate the total number of active professionals in the country, and second of all, how many employment opportunities have been created by these active professionals. So first estimating the active professionals, then the employment generated by them. The fourth one, which is by transport sector, how many employment opportunities have been created by transport sector. And the fifth survey is on quarterly establishment based employment survey, which will measure the relative change in employment situation in the successive quarters. That is, how much employment has been increased or decreased, opportunities have increased or decreased in non-farm group economy or non-farming sector, how much increase or decrease has happened, right? Then going ahead, amendments to the Juvenile Justice Act 2015, that has also been approved recently by Union Cabinet. Now over here approval has happened by Union Cabinet first of all. Who chaired the meeting? It was the Prime Minister of India who chaired the meeting. Now what were the propositions over here? First of all, district magistrates and ADMs, associate district magistrates, they will monitor the functioning of agencies which are implemented in each district. All the agencies which are there, functioning agencies for the purpose of juvenile or protection of juveniles, all of them will be overlooked by DMs and ADMs as of now. Apart from that, child protection unit which is there of any district, child protection unit of any district will also function directly under the district magistrate or DM. Then what is the capacity of the child care institute? What is the background of the institute? Are they given the required quality that is needed? Everything, all of that will be checked at every level. And also there is going to be a registration recommendation which will be done post the checking of it, right? So here we can see that the powers have been given to additional district management magistrate or ADM and DM on various checking positions. Right now, child welfare committee can also be evaluated by DMs independently, and specialized juvenile police unit. Both of them can independently check whether the implementation is being done or not. Right. So these amendments are very important. Then we have a Mahabahu Brahmaputra initiative, which is going to be launched in Assam by the Prime Minister of India. And the purpose of this mission is to provide seamless connectivity to the eastern parts of India. So for that purpose, a lot of connectivity projects are going to be launched, right? Connectivity projects being those projects which will enhance the connectivity in the region. So in that, one of them is going to be the RoPax vessel operation, and this is going to be launched between Niyamatigat and Majoli, Dubri, Hatsigimari and North South Guwahati. There's connectivity on these three areas where RoPax vessels are going to provide. Also, inland water transport terminal will be inaugurated at Jogi Gopa. Right. Also, initiatives will be there for various tourist jetties that are going to be launched, so that tourism connectivity is provided, and various developmental projects on people living in Barak and Brahmaputra, living across Barak and Brahmaputra. For them also connectivity projects are there. And also there's a bridge by the name Dhubri Fulbari Bridge, which will be constructed on NH 127B, connecting. So it's going to be constructed over Brahmaputra river, and it is going to be like it will be an east-west corridor. So it will start in Dhubri and it is going to end in Meghalaya, Fulbari, Meghalaya, right? It is going to be from Assam to Meghalaya, right? Then a few one-liners. Secretary General of United Nations Antonio Guterres has asked G20 nations to prepare a global COVID-19 vaccination plan, because as of now, vaccination needs to be carried out on all the countries, in fact, and there are 10 wealthier countries that have 75% of global vaccinations of the world, and they can in turn plan and help the other countries as well. Also, an emergency task force is going to be set up so that everyone everywhere can be vaccinated, right? Now there is a COVAX facility of WHO for low income and middle income countries. So for this also funding is required, so they will be generating a more amount of fund for the same purpose of it, right? Then Union Cabinet has approved signing of a Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement or CECPA between India and Mauritius recently. Then SAARC virtual meeting is going to be organized recently, which is going to be hosted by India, and in this Pakistan has also been invited. So in this meeting, India is the host and Pakistan has also been invited in this. And there's since COVID pandemic is going on, so the necessity of this meeting is quite seen as to further plans might be there. Apart from that, the last SAARC meeting had instituted a coronavirus emergency fund last year. So what are the updates in that? India had given 10 million US dollars for the fund. It had started the fund and given 10 million US dollars. So furthermore, what are the updates that are going to be taken care of? So you have to be updated on that as well. Then we have Tiger X1, which is Hyundai's new concept vehicle. Now, this is an ultimate mobility vehicle, or UMV. What does Tiger stand for? It is Transforming Intelligent Ground Excursion Robot. And it is a UMV, or ultimate mobility vehicle, and it has an ability to even walk, like it can stand up and walk when it is stuck in, any place. And it can not only travel on Earth but can also travel on other planets. So this is a very unique approach, or unique discovery, or unique development that has been taken place. And this has a 360-degree directional control, right? So for disaster prone areas, it is going to be very helpful because it can move all in all directions, or 360 degrees, right? It cannot carry any passengers, but it can carry a lot of material, like it can carry the cargo, or the relief material, whatever the purpose of this is going to be there. So it can carry a lot of cargo and sensors to all the remote locations, although it cannot carry any people around, right? All right, so it is going to be used majorly for sending aids during the time of emergencies. Then scientists have recovered oldest DNA on record from the teeth of Siberian mammoths recently. And with this, we will be winding up the segment. I hope this session has been helpful to all of you. I'll see you in the next video with more such updates. Until then, goodbye, take care, and have a wonderful day ahead.